Hey, I'm Chris Sanchez, and welcome to Sonoma Views, where we talk property management, real estate, restaurants, what's going on in Sonoma County, and everything in between. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time on this channel and you find valuable information on these videos and you'd like to see more, you can subscribe or click there's a little bell icon, and that'll give you the alerts when new videos are published. So thanks again for being here. Today's topic, I wanted to talk about rentals and multiple roommates, multiple occupants, and how you handle the right and wrong way to handle tenants who sublease, or tenants who want to move in or move out somebody, or swap the people who are on that rental agreement, if you even have a written rental agreement. So I want to talk briefly about that, because right now we are almost into spring. Today is March 8th. We're coming into spring, and then summer will be here. And this is the time that we're getting into moving season. So a lot of people move during this time, and that means that their lease agreements come due in March and spring and summer. Also, the school years end. I believe it's May. So right before summer is when the Sonoma State, specifically Sonoma State University and the colleges go on summer break. So it's more people coming and going. Now, so how do you handle when tenants move somebody in without landlord or owner permission? I would tell you that, unfortunately, there's no right or wrong answer. I wish there was. I wish there was just one simple, easy solution, and there's not. So what you have to do is look at the scenario that you're dealing with, take all things in consideration, and make the best decision based on your goals and objectives. Now, what I could tell you from a bigger view, I just say pick your battles. Pick your battles, and that just means weigh the costs versus benefit, weigh the pros and cons of what you intend to do or how you want to handle when a tenant either moves in somebody illegally, which means without the landlord permission, or when some tenants do it above board, and they'll come in and they'll request they want to do XYZ. And I want to give you some information so you're better prepared, you're better equipped, and let you know how I've handled things in the past. First and foremost, I will let you know that for the past 5 years, I have dealt with multiple situations, good and bad. I have been firm on some, and it is what it is, very black and white. Other times with tenants who I've liked, I've actually extended a courtesy and done more of a favor, and in exchange for being nice, things just got sour, they went sideways, and I actually ended up getting burned. So I'm much more careful, much more cautious, and they're just lessons learned. Lessons learned, that's all I can say. So first thing, one scenario would be you have multiple roommates renting a property. Let's say it's a 3-bedroom house and you have 3 single people, one per bedroom. Now, one of the challenges is that when you have 3 quote unrelated tenants, now fair housing, you cannot discriminate based on familial status, so I'll bring that right up to the front. But if you have 3 individual single adult roommates, sooner or later, one of those guys or one of those girls is going to have a boyfriend, girlfriend who wants to come over, and they're going to have guests. You can't stop that. And whether that guest turns out to be an overnight guest, or that girlfriend ends up moving in, or that boyfriend ends up moving in without their own approval, that's just life, man. It's going to happen, and there's no way really to prevent it. All you can do is, if you find out about it, and probably through inspections or from somebody's complaint or some other way, then you could address it as a violation of the lease agreement. If your lease agreement does not allow, if it prohibits subleasing or subletting the property. So most of the answers are going to lie within your rental agreement if you have one. Hopefully you do. All right, so just multiple scenarios here. You have 3 people living together. One of them decides to move out, and the remaining 2 tenants, they don't want to cover the rent all by themselves. You know, it'll be a strain on them. So rather than have a vacant, empty room in that 3-bedroom house, they decide that they want to bring somebody else in. Well, not so fast and not so easy. If you're aware of it as a landlord, if the tenants come to me and say, hey, this person is moving out and we have somebody for replacement, I'll entertain it. If it's been a good relationship, they're taking care of the property, not necessarily whether they bug us a lot or not, because every property is unique in the repairs and maintenance that it needs. But if they're good people, they're respectful, they're clean, sanitary, they take care of the property, then I may allow another person to come in, swap them out. What I do not get involved with is how they handle the security deposit amongst themselves. It is one rental unit, one house, one master rental agreement, one security deposit, one rent amount, not fractions. Okay, I don't do individual agreements, no fractions thereof. So if they want to do that, okay, I just need to, hopefully they ask, they request it, screen the potential applicant. It's not a given. I would have to do a background screening, check their criminal history, check their employment, their income, their credit, and determine on my approval whether that person could come in on that agreement or not. And it's a whole lot easier if it's a month-to-month rental agreement. It could be a little bit more tricky if it's a fixed term lease. And because the lease agreement can be modified legally if everybody signs. So it would be a mutual agreement signed by all parties, meaning John Doe moved out and they want to bring in Jane. Well, do the remaining 2 tenants actually agree to have that third person in there? Does the other person agree to leave their security deposit with the other 2? Just a mutual agreement to modify the terms of the lease. And I'll entertain it if it's not going to be too much hassle. We will do a processing fee. So there's paperwork involved. If they're in a lease, they made a commitment for 1 year. If month number 3 or month number 4 comes along and hey, this person is not going to work out, they want to move out, they want to bring somebody else in as a replacement, why should we have to do more work when we already did the work on the lease agreement and we already made a commitment? We're not changing the terms on the tenants, they're changing the terms on us. So yeah, there's going to be a processing fee, because then if I even consider it, it could just be a simple no. But again, I'm very reasonable, and if it's a reasonable request, I'll look into it. Now that's one person moving out. If you have 2 people, let's say you moved in 3 people, you approve them all out together as a whole based on rental history, based on income, based on credit, based on criminal history. You did the full background check and screening and approve them as a group, then they should stay as a group. But if 2 of those people, let's say the lease is coming up and it's end of February, the lease is coming up, and you find out, hey, at the end of March, 2 people are going to move out, but the third person doesn't want to move. They want to stay here. They would like to take responsibility for the property, take over the lease, but this person can't pay the rent all by themselves. So naturally, they want to get roommates. So they want to get their replacement. And this is where it gets tricky. It gets ugly, and it could potentially become ugly, and it could potentially become your biggest headache and your biggest nightmare. And because it sounds easy on one hand, all right, I know that the lease is coming up, 2 of the 3 people are moving out, which is sort of good news, because landlord is not going to have a vacancy and have to get that place rehabbed, renovated, whatever it takes to get that rent ready again. Maybe paint, maybe carpet, minor repairs. So on one hand, hey, it's good. One person wants to stay behind. I'm not going to lose rent. I'm not going to have a vacancy. I understand that. So that's the pros. The downside is when 2 of those original people move out, we have a history of them as a group. Did they have noise violations? Were they overall good tenants, just in the general sense of the word? Were they good tenants? Did they take care of a property? Well, maybe those 3 did as a group. But you're going to bring in 2 new people into the mix, which is now the majority, 2 out of 3 of them. We don't know really who those new people are. We could do the screening, but do the 2 people coming in, maybe they were friends with the 3rd one. Friends is one thing, roommates is totally different. Anybody who has some age and wisdom knows. Yeah, you have friends and you have family, but sometimes you could be friends and you could be family, but you cannot be roommates. If you got to share the milk jug and share the refrigerator and share the washer and dryer, things change, man. So anybody with wisdom and knows better, but it is what it is. So how do we know that the 2 new people are, best buddies and they're going to gang up on the 3rd person? Or how do you know that one is going to be a real jerk towards the others? And now we're dealing with tenant drama, which wasn't necessary. We were just, quote, making it easy and doing it a favor for the person, that 3rd person who should have left, but we let him or her stay, let them get 2 new roommates, and now we're dealing not just with the roommates, but the roommate has a boyfriend who's crazy and he has a criminal history, or the roommate has a crazy girlfriend and they come over here and they're partying all night and they can't get sleep, and now you have tenant drama. So yeah, I've been there, done that, learned my lesson. So now what I do, and again, it's not the right or the wrong answer, look at your rental agreement and what your goals are, but especially if the majority of the original tenants are moving out, give them all a notice to move out. Start over, start fresh, screen a new group of people as a whole, screen them together, because I could tell you, when people are looking for a place, they will move mountains. They will do what they need to do. They will come up with the money. They'll get money from the parents. They'll get their security deposit together. Everybody's on the same page for this is the day that we get keys. They make arrangements on who's going to set up the utilities in their name, who's going to set up the garbage, how do we handle the wireless, the internet. Everything is fun. Everything's fine on the way in. When they move out, oh my gosh, what if the person who moves out was the person who had the PG&E, the gas and electric account in their name? What if they had the cable in their name and they decide not to pay, and all of a sudden it gets shut off, and then the new tenants can't transfer over because there's an outstanding balance? What if they want to be, oh man, you name it. I mean, you can see where this is going. And so what I do now is, if half those people are going to be moving out, give them all a notice equally, because what's going to happen, the arguments, the disputes, the pettiness is going to rise to the top, and then they're going to be nickeling and diming each other. And now this is dealing with just individual adults, but what if they are young adults and they have co-signers, parents who are involved, either on the rental agreement or not, but the parents are going to get involved because Mama Bear, they're going to take care of their kids. And I agree 100%. So they have more years and wisdom and experience. They've been there, done that. They're homeowners themselves. Some of the parents are real estate agents. Some of them are business owners. Some of them are property managers themselves. They know the deal. They've been around the block. They know the tenant landlord laws. And yes, they're going to get involved if something seems fishy. And guess who gets those calls? Property manager. So why should I have to deal with the mom when she's not on the rental agreement and she's, angry female, for lack of another term, and which legally I'm not required to deal with them, but whatever. So those are the things that happen. Now, again, after years of just dealing with the drama, give them all a notice to vacate as long as you can, as long as the lease is coming to an end, or it's a month-to-month rental. You give them a notice to terminate the tenancy, which is the legal notice to have them move out. If the tenants have lived there less than 1 year, you could do a 30-day notice. If the tenants have lived in the property for more than 1 year, or I would say 1 year or more, you would do a 60-day notice, and you serve that equally for all tenants and subtenants in possession. So that means you don't know if they moved anybody else in. Getting ready to park here. So maybe you had 2 people, but you know, during the last couple months of their tenancy, they did move in the girlfriend, and you don't know that she's there. But so you serve that legal notice on everybody equally. Give them a proper notice. If it's Section 8, it has to be a 90-day notice. So just check your local laws. You might be watching this out of California anyway, so these are California laws. So check what the legal requirement is to give a notice to terminate tenancy, and give that notice. I make everybody move out, start over. Because if I have 2 people who are already leaving and I'm stuck with 1 person, for me, it is not generally not going to be worth it for me to keep that 1 person in there and try to deal with new paperwork and deal with the security deposit. The accounting, when it comes to money, the accounting is where it gets so tricky. And when it comes to their money, they want their money, and people are going to raise hell over it. So I don't want to deal with any disputes between or among the tenants. I want to issue the security deposit. Here's the amount. If it's $2,000, it's $2,000. You figure it out. The tenants figure it out. Have them go cash it. Have them endorse it. Who's going to cash it? How are they going to split it? I don't care. I am obligated to release the security deposit with a closing statement and copies of receipts or invoices if we made any deductions. So that's all civil code and procedures, how that's handled according to California law. So that's my obligation. How they split it up, not my problem. Now, if I like the tenant, let's say 2 people moved out, but that 3rd tenant, it's cool. I like them. They're respectful. They have a good history with me. I'll say, hey, here's a 60-day notice. Everybody has to move out. However, I will give you first shot at anything else that I have available that suits your needs. That's within your budget, but I could give you first opportunity. And I just did that recently. I had a place where it was a small studio. I had to give a tenant notice to move out because we had to go in and make significant repairs to the property. And rather than just saying, sorry, tough luck, 60 days, you're out, I actually gave her the opportunity, and I relocated her, gave her first dibs on it, which even worked out better for her because then she did have a boyfriend, and now they got a one bedroom, one bath with a small yard and storage space, which was an upgrade to them, and it suited them a whole lot better. But by this point, she already had the boyfriend, so it worked out well, and now I get to rent the other place. So just start over. If they were a pain in the ass and it was going to get ugly anyway, better just to get rid of them, have them move out, start fresh, clean up the property, do the paint, carpet, minor repairs, whatever it takes to get it move-in ready, and close out those books, close out that account with that group of tenants, and then just start with a new set of tenants. It is less brain damage. Take it from me, just look at the gray hairs. So this is a long video already. It's 18 minutes, going on 19 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Again, Sonoma Views. If you'd like to receive future videos and content, I can't wait to, I'm going to be doing interviews here with local business owners and doing restaurant reviews. So really excited for the growth of this channel in this year, 2019. Chris Sanchez, Sonoma Views. Thanks for watching.